Hello, this is Tom Morgan, Artistic Director and Conductor of Ars Nova Singers. And it's July 2020. It's a hard time. We're in the midst of a global pandemic that is still accelerating in many parts of the world. But guess what? Pandemics and epidemics have occurred throughout human history, and art and music have always survived. Indeed, some of the most profound works of the choral repertoire came out of one of these periods. And I'd like to take a few moments to tell you about what happened in 1592 and 1593. First, we have to go back a ways to the 14th century. In the late Middle Ages, Europe experienced the deadliest disease outbreak in history, when the Black Death, the infamous pandemic of Bubonic Plague, hit in 1347, killing an estimated 25 to 30 million people. Though the plague abated after about 5 years, it recurred in isolated spots for centuries. 2 centuries later, there were 3 major outbreaks in Elizabethan England. The outbreak in London in 1592 saw alehouses, theatres, concerts, fairs, and even Parliament closed to reduce infection. Shakespeare's theatre company remained dark in London for virtually the entirety of this outbreak. Some plays went on tours to distant cities. By June of 1593, all the public markets in the area surrounding London were cancelled. The mayor wanted to proceed with the Bartholomew Fair because of its economic importance, but his request was rebuked. Sound familiar? The epidemic peaked in the 3rd week of August 1593. Over 20,000 from London and the surrounding area died, out of a population of approximately 150,000. By 1592, William Byrd was a renowned English composer and a gentleman of the Chapel Royal, writing elaborate music for the best-funded and most famous choir in the country. From 1575 to 1596, Byrd and Thomas Tallis held a royal patent for printing music and music paper in England. After Tallis died in 1585, Byrd published 2 large collections of motets, 2 books of consort songs, and a collection of 42 keyboard pieces. About this time, he was required to pay heavy fines for being a Roman Catholic in a country that was, at times, quite militantly Protestant. He was held in high esteem by Queen Elizabeth, and so was able to avoid harsher punishment. In 1592 or early 1593, Byrd retired to the Essex countryside, where he lived for the rest of his life. His church music in his Essex years was exclusively written in Latin for the small groups of Roman Catholics holding secret services in private homes and manor houses. The first works to come out of this period were his 3 masses, each published separately in very small part books without any title pages or dates, just the composer's name. This was to aid concealment and is a reminder that these were forbidden books. Here's a page from the soprano part of the 5-voice mass, the Agnus Dei movement that we're about to hear. I think it's fascinating to see this original print and to know that Byrd himself undoubtedly oversaw its preparation. We can notice several things. The large, decorated initial letter A, the first letter of the text, Agnus Dei. Here's the treble clef, and in this earlier form you can really see why it's known as the G clef. Here's the key signature, 1 flat. And this is what we would call the time signature, but in this notation it's known as a mensuration sign, indicating here tempus imperfectum, or duple time, meaning that this note will be divided into 2 of these rather than 3. Notice that each sign, each note is slightly separated. There are gaps here in between the lines. These are all very small segments of movable type, finely crafted and very carefully laid out on a rack for use in a printing press. So this was Byrd, escaping a horrific pandemic and self-isolating in the Essex countryside, creating music for small groups performing in secret. In 1592, the pandemic outbreak lasted about 2 years. The music Byrd created during that time has lasted for more than 4 centuries and continues to inspire and transform both performers and listeners. Our recording of Byrd's Mass for 5 voices is from a performance we gave in Denver in February of 2012. So that's the story in the song. Thank you for listening.
Hi Ars Nova fans, my name is Kim Brody and I'm the Executive Director of Ars Nova Singers. We thought it would be fun to introduce you to some local community enterprises that we think are just amazing in our segment that we're calling, Hey, Just a Local Minute. Today's Local Minute features Dustin and Cora of Farm to Bus, a mobile farmers market that travels to different neighborhoods in Boulder offering fresh, organic, local products. It's like going into your own garden and fresh picking your dinner. We love it, and we love the energy and enthusiasm that Dustin and Cora have for bringing great food and community spirit directly to their customers. Here are Dustin and Cora to tell you a little bit about Farm to Bus.
How's it going? So I'm Dustin. I'm Cora.
And this is Farm to Bus, and we partner with local farmers, beekeepers, bakers. Pretty much all these local producers are in the Boulder, Denver area, western slopes of Colorado, and
Yeah, it was born out of COVID, and we were just really excited to kind of bring everybody the farmers market experience to their homes.
Yeah, because COVID had impacted restaurants and the farmers markets, so restaurants were, seating 50% capacity. Farmers markets were stunted, so we wanted to help out all these producers and get them on board and bring them to your door, because grocery stores are all weird, and
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
So be sure to check out Farm to Bus, click on Follow the Bus, and listen for the bus bell on your street. Enjoy the bounty of Boulder County without leaving home. Until next time, enjoy great food, great music, and above all, be well.